Welcome to TCDI Talks, where we spotlight the people and ideas driving innovation in legal services and technology. I'm Michael Gibeault, your host, and today we're exploring how artificial intelligence can be integrated into legal workflows responsibly and ethically. Joining us is my colleague, Emily Fedeles Czebiniak, TCDI's Senior Vice President of Emerging Technologies, to discuss her article, Inclusive Intelligence, the Human Side of AI in Legal. Welcome, Emily.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Well, Emily, at TCDI, we believe technology achieves its full potential when it's shaped and guided by people with diverse perspectives and expertise. And this philosophy is what we call inclusive intelligence. So, Emily, let's start there. Can you explain what inclusive intelligence means?
Certainly. Inclusive intelligence is the idea that technology performs best when it's guided by diverse human insight. So it's about pairing human oversight, ethics, and creativity with the speed and scale of AI. So at TCDI, we think of that as a partnership, like where data scientists, attorneys, technologists, and client teams all contribute their expertise to how AI is designed, deployed, and governed. The more inclusive minds around the table, the smarter and more ethical the technology becomes.
So, Emily, in your article, you write that AI is only part of the process. So, how do you see the relationship between the human judgment and AI evolving in eDiscovery?
So, this is an interesting evolving relationship. AI is certainly transforming eDiscovery, but it doesn't replace human judgment, it just refines it. As models get better at identifying relevance or patterns, for example, human reviewers focus more of their time on being strategic decision makers. So we're moving towards spending more time in workflows where AI handles the volume and pattern recognition, and humans provide the context, the ethics, and the reasoning. So the future isn't AI instead of people, it's AI with people, people who are empowered to question, interpret, and guide its output.
So, Emily, from your perspective, what makes eDiscovery uniquely suited or uniquely challenged when it comes to adopting AI responsibly?
eDiscovery sits at the intersection of data, law, and human behavior, which makes it both an ideal and a high stakes testing ground for AI. We deal with sensitive, complex information where context matters enormously. So, a model that performs well in another industry or sector might completely misread legal nuance or privilege. That's why governance, transparency, and human oversight are so essential here.
So, many organizations talk about inclusion, but fewer make it a true part of their innovation strategy. Why is inclusion so important and not just a value on paper?
Absolutely. Inclusion isn't just a value, it's a competitive advantage because inclusion is innovation. Diverse teams ask different questions, they catch different blind spots, and they push ideas further. At TCDI, we've seen how mixing legal, technical, and client perspective lead to smarter solutions, whether it's improving review workflows or refining a model. Inclusion moves from being a feel-good value to a performance driver.
In your article, you cite research showing that diverse teams outperform others in creativity and innovation. Why do you think diversity has such a measurable impact on how teams approach technology?
When teams share similar backgrounds, they often share similar assumptions, and those assumptions can be the root of bias. Diversity helps break that echo chamber. It forces you to validate your data, your design, and even your decision logic. That's how innovation happens, by challenging what normal looks like. Diversity doesn't just change who's in the room, it changes what's possible in the room.
Well, you make the point that AI is only as fair as the people who build and train it. What practical steps can teams take to identify and reduce bias in their AI systems?
So, first, start with the data. You audit it for representations and for fairness, and then you test your models continuously with diverse review groups to catch bias before deployment. So, here at TCDI, we use cross functional working groups that include legal, technical, and client voices. They review not only the outputs, but also the assumptions baked into the system. Bias mitigation isn't a one time project, it's a continuous process of testing and learning.
So, governance often sounds procedural, but you describe in your article it has something cultural about it. How does TCDI make responsible AI governance part of everyday decision making?
Yeah, absolutely. Here it's not just like a policy, it's part of how we think. We treat governance as culture, not as just compliance. It's built into how we make choices every day, from data handling to model validation to client communication. Our teams are trained to ask, should we, as often as they ask, can we? This mindset ensures AI development stays transparent, ethical, and human centered.
So when you think about bias in AI, where do you see the biggest risks? Is it data, design, or decision making?
All three are certainly connected, but I think decision making is where the rubber meets the road. Even a fair data set and a sound design can be undermined if humans interpret results without context. Data and design set the stage, but decision making determines whether bias actually impacts outcomes. That's why human oversight, inclusive, multidisciplinary oversight, is essential.
So, how do you communicate complex ideas like fairness or transparency to clients who may just be starting to explore AI tools?
We focus on clarity and collaboration. Instead of talking in abstract technical terms, we show how the model works and where humans remain involved. Clients seem to appreciate when we explain the safeguards, the bias testing, the audit trails, the human in the loop review. Transparency builds trust, and trust is what allows responsible innovation to thrive.
So, you talk about AI in your article as a way to enhance human judgment. What do you think that ideal human AI partnership looks like in a legal workflow?
Ideally, it's symbiotic. AI handles the volume, the pattern recognition, the speed. Humans provide the judgment, the ethics, and the strategy. The best workflows are those where AI enhances the human capabilities, freeing the professionals to focus on parts of the job that require the empathy, the reasoning, and the creativity, the human side of things.
As AI becomes a regular part of eDiscovery, what skills or mindsets do you think will become essential for professionals in this field?
I think most important are curiosity and adaptability. The most valuable professionals will be those who understand both the technology and its human implications. So, certainly, technical literacy will matter, but so will ethical literacy, knowing when to question the output and how to guide the system responsibly.
So let's look beyond the legal industry. Are there lessons from other sectors that inspire how you and your team approach responsible AI development?
Yes, certainly. I think healthcare is a great example. That sector shows how human oversight and ethics can coexist with automation. A doctor doesn't let an algorithm diagnose a patient on its own. The doctor interprets the AI output via her training and human experience. That can help serve as an inspiration for the model that we should emulate in legal: AI as an assistant, not as the authority.
Well, Emily, thanks for joining us today on TCDI Talks. For our viewers, if you'd like to learn more about how inclusion strengthens innovation and ensures AI is developed with fairness and transparency, check out Emily's article linked next to the video. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.